GRL Zone. We have Anna Heid here with us today, and I'm so excited. You guys know the GRL Zone is about sports, but we also are just girls, so we like to talk and chit-chat. And Anna has been on social media for a couple years, so I think it's interesting because you've lived about 3 different lives. You have your college chapter, you're right after college chapter, like New York, and now kind of where you're at now. And I just kind of want to explore and talk a little bit more about that.
Sounds great. I'm so excited to be here. I'm Anna, and yeah, we're just gonna get into it all.
We're gonna just chit chat. You guys are gonna like turn us off probably because we're gonna be like yapping the whole time.
Literally, you can tell us to stop.
But I want to start at the beginning because I think it's so interesting. I don't know if it's like DCC coming out, but I am so intrigued with cheerleading recently.
Yes.
And you cheered for the University of South Carolina for, was it all 4 years?
Yep, all 4 years, and then I've like done all-star cheer, high school cheer, baby cheer, like my whole entire life.
Like your whole identity was cheerleading, pretty much.
Yes.
Okay. And did you always want to go to University of South Carolina, or was it just kind of like wherever?
I knew I wanted to cheer like at a big SEC school, and then Georgia. I kind of wanted to go a little further than Georgia. Also, Georgia doesn't have nursing, which is really random.
Oh, it doesn't.
And they don't do comp cheer. Like I love their cheer team, and I'm friends with like all of them, but like it just USC just fit perfectly. Like it just made sense. It was the perfect distance from home.
Yeah.
SEC dream. But like I literally almost didn't go because I wanted to super senior at my all-star cheer.
Oh, so you were deep.
I was so deep in. Got to the world's team. It was my whole entire life. I would listen to cheer music in the car on the way to school.
Yeah.
I'm so glad. I love Stingrays, but I'm so glad I like did
something else.
College cheer route.
How was that cheering? Did you feel like you kind of missed out on a little bit of like the college football experience or college at all? Or were you just like so in it that you didn't care that you couldn't, or could you as a cheerleader go to tailgating and stuff like that before?
Honestly, I don't feel like I missed out sometimes because like they'd have like the frat lots and like obviously we would not drink obviously when we have to go cheer a game, but we could like after we'd warm up and go early to the field and do our appearances and stuff, then we were allowed to like go out and see family at tailgates. So it was cool to like go pop into the tailgate, say hi to your friends, and like, oh my gosh, when you're wearing that uniform, it's the like you have to weave through the tailgate. Literally, they're like cheerleader picture.
Yeah,
it's so funny.
Cute.
But it eventually got to the point where it stopped being cheerleader picture and it started being like TikTok girl, cheerleader, you're the one on TikTok. And I was like, what is happening? Which we'll get into, I'm sure. But
yeah,
I mean, I did do a 5th year where I didn't cheer, and so I did get to experience like tailgating, which was really cool.
That's cool.
I was like, I kind of want to do a little bit of both.
I'm glad you brought that up because I'm interested. When did you start with TikTok on it? Because what year were you in college?
So what was TikTok was like 2019, right before COVID.
Yeah.
So I started it early, and I remember I started it when like it wasn't cool for our age. I was 20, and it was like more the what was that app before?
Was it Vine? No,
Vine, and then it was
there was something else.
Gamey,
or I don't know.
Something. But I remember everyone was like, "This is kind of weird," and I was like, "Whatever." And I started with like our cheer team. I made my friends like do like some cool transition. Like I think I was ahead of the time for a second, like doing the transition.
I was gonna say it was probably really dancey back then, so that
it was
probably
so
perfect
dancey
for you guys.
And I'm like, sure, I got made fun of, but I really don't care. But like we just did a little dance thing, and then like I remember the first one that went insanely viral, and it's still probably my most viral. Like I think it was like 7 million. It was a really good transition, and I think it also went viral because my 3 best friends and roommates are all blonde, and everyone was like we did a really good transition where everyone thought they were all the same person, and they were like until at the end we all came in and like I don't know, it just blew up. And I remember because we put our phones away when we go to warm up, and then halftime we can go shove sandwiches in our mouth real fast and look at our phone. And I remember it was like 50,000 new followers. Like
no way.
It was
from that one?
From one TikTok. 50,000 followers in halftime. And I was like, guys, what's going on? And like it was just crazy. And that's when I was like, all right, guys, we're gonna do, and we literally would have so much fun like planning our game day TikTok the night before. And I feel like it just drew the crowd of like girls who wanted to be cheerleaders, girls who wanted to go to USC, and then the men who were like, your team sucks, like you guys blah, at least their cheerleaders are hot, like whatever. So like I was like, whatever, we're just bringing in all the different demographics.
That's like light heart hate. You're like, okay, whatever. You're like, you can roll your eyes at that.
Some of it was good. Like it ended up being like, I think Barstool literally wrote an article. It's bad for our football team, but they like wrote an article at one point being like, is the TikTok cheerleaders taking over like better than the I was like, wait, so okay, funny. We can't be saying all that. Like,
were you guys was University of okay, also I want to quickly say something. I have ADD, so my brain's always scattering. But do you feel like that when you say USC, I don't know if it's an East Coast thing. I always said USC thinking University of South Carolina. But then I got out of college, moved away a little bit, and people are like, there's only one USC. It's University of Southern California. And I was like, is that like, am I ignorant? Or is that like...
Were you were over on the East Coast?
Yeah, I went to Virginia Tech. And then like the more I traveled or like went other places, they were like, what the heck is USC? There's one USC.
Yeah, I feel like out on the West Coast, like it's like beef.
That's what I'm saying.
Like our school gets so mad about it, even though we never ever would ever play that team.
No.
Like it's not beef with the team, it's beef with like the school.
But when people say it, I feel like they're always like, oh, there's only one USC. So I'm happy that you say USC, because I was like, I don't know if it's just someone that like, we had a lot of people that went to that school. Like for me, there was no University of Southern California in my head. Like
no,
I automatically thought of University of South Carolina.
Good, because that's how it is. Because I guess they get mad because we're technically U of SC and they're USC, but we're like, no, like we're SEC. Like, I just feel like we're the USC.
Do you think also being Southern, you guys are more of a college football type of community, or is it NFL? Because I feel like a lot of Southerners, it's like college football, and like NFL is kind of like, yeah, whatever, like afterwards.
The South revolves around college football with Georgia, USC, Tennessee, like Ole Miss, Alabama. Like I feel like it's not even a bit like the Falcon. Like I don't know, it's not even that big of a thing. I was trying to
think about that, like when I was coming here, like thinking of things to talk about, and I was like, do people even care about like Southern NFL teams and stuff? Well, now people are probably gonna like come after me.
I was gonna say, after I say that, people are gonna be like, they are a big deal. What do you mean? But like, you know what I mean, compared to like maybe, and I know it's different for everyone. Like it was just the atmosphere I was in, but I would say for the most part, because when I got to New York, I was like shook. I was like, are we not gonna watch a college football game on TV?
Game day, Saturdays.
I feel like they don't even really care about NFL up there. I was like,
yeah,
what is going on?
It's definitely,
they're very hockey.
Yeah, they're hockey and like basketball probably.
Yeah.
But speaking of New York City, so you went to college, you're a cheerleader, you were on the cheer team, so you had that camaraderie the whole time and you felt like you were a part of something that was your identity. So what made you decide to like go to New York City and like chase that dream and kind of leave a comfortable environment to a really uncomfortable environment?
Yeah, I feel like I knew my content was going to have to change no matter what. And I knew it was going to be hard going from that cheer to not cheer. Because right now I'm also working on the nursing to not nursing, which we'll get to. But people who come for one aspect of your content, I know are going to get frustrated when you change it. But that's just kind of a part of like following your favorite influencers.
Yeah, exactly.
Like we develop. I can't.
You're growing up.
Cheer
You're not
for
20
life.
anymore.
I cannot be a cheerleader for life. Like it's not a thing. So my dream was LA. Like I just always had my eyes set on like bigger, brighter, big city, like try it out. And like I tried LA before I did that 5th year of nursing, I tried LA for 3 months and it just felt like I was on the other side of the world for my family. Yeah. The people, it just very felt like it made me not even want to do content because it was so content focused and I just felt like the bottom of the barrel. Like I don't know.
It's weird because I've been to LA and like my best friend lives in LA and like manages influencer and she loves it. But I will say it's not just a stereotype. Like that is actually how people are over there. And it's kind of not like shading them at all, but it is, especially if you're from the South or East Coast and you go over there, you don't realize how much it is different until you go over there.
I feel like some people like can totally thrive in that. It just like made me kind of shut down and I was like, I don't see this for myself. So then I went back to South Carolina and I was like, wait, I still want to go somewhere big. And then my roommate that I lived with my last year was like, I'm moving to New York, like, want to come? And I was like, yeah, sure.
Yeah, why not?
And I did love it for the first year I was in that, like, concrete jungle, like, wow, city girl. Because people get mad. They're like, what happened? You loved it, hated it. I'm like, that's literally my personality. Like, I'll, like, literally, like, be obsessed with something and then I'll be like, I'm over it.
Dude,
like,
I'm the same way. Like Vans in like high school, me and my friend always talk about it. When we become obsessed with something, we buy it in 6 different colors.
I go so
like I had like 6 different Vans or like certain type of shorts, 6 different of those, and then a year later, I'm like, I need to be put down. Like I'm not well.
I'm like, why can't I just be consistent with something? But yeah, so and people told me when I moved to New York, I remember one person was like, you're going to love it for a year. And then they said, then you either love it for life and you never leave, or after that year, you get the frick out. And I was like, that's not going to be me. Like, I can see myself raising babies here. Literally, I hit my year mark and I was like, a mess. I was like, get me out. I'm not okay. Like, I missed my car. I missed my family. I missed my friends. I just felt like I think nursing was very hard too, taking the subway there, all like the streets, the people, everyone was so mean. Like, it just all was crumbling down on me and I just was not happy.
Your mental health. I was not well. I also want to point out too, it's interesting because like you said, you were going from such a like comfortable place, like camaraderie, you were with your people, and then you moved to New York City. And moving to anywhere after you graduate is super hard, like a huge adjustment. And then moving to New York City, it's incredibly lonely at times. And so it's like you're coupling that with so many other big life changes and like you're not cheering anymore. Do you feel like that definitely played like an aspect into your mental health a little bit?
For sure, because I feel like no matter what, post-grad is like really weird.
It's so weird. Still, I'm 29 and I'm like, so it's
what
time
am I
to
doing?
grow up.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't live in like my little tiny orchard townhouse with my 4 best friends. And
I can't walk down the hall and knock on someone's door.
No, our biggest worry is like tumbling, our coach saying full out again. Like that's that's not our biggest worry. So it's definitely that coupled with everything else. But then I just like, me and my roommate now, she also tried New York too. We didn't live together, but she's from Charleston. And both of us just found ourselves like seeing because in USC, I feel like everyone either moves to Charlotte or Charleston post-grad.
Charleston, yeah.
And like Charleston's literally the best place on earth. Like,
I will say I love it. I went there for a bachelorette. I love it, but humid as hell. Like I was there in July and I literally was like, I'm not going to even put makeup on.
Low-key, it's humid here too. I mean, maybe because all the rain right now. But
I will say, people say that too. They're like, you live in Virginia. And I was like, okay, but Charleston humidity, maybe it was just during July.
No, it's bad. I'm just used to it from like Georgia too. That's where I'm like born and from. But yeah, I think we just saw everyone in Charleston. We were just like whenever we go home to Charleston or go home to Atlanta, we would have no FOMO from New York. But whenever we were in New York, we just wish we weren't there. And we were like, okay, it's
time to
make a change. Yeah. While we're young.
At this time, do you feel like people were still super supportive of you at this time when you were in New York and like you weren't really getting like crazy hate comments or anything like that? Or was it starting to like kind of happen, like filter in at that point?
I think I was doing really good with not getting a lot of hate in New York because I think my nursing TikTok kind of took off there. Like I kind of blew up when I started my first nursing job there, like a whole new level of like working on getting over the college cheer people being mad and getting a new audience of like new grad nurse there. That's like when that all started and like everyone loved that. I feel like the hate started to creep in when I started to like switch up on New York and be like, I'm not happy, but I'm like, do you want me to lie?
I think that's so interesting is that not saying you were miserable, like I don't want to put words in your mouth, but it's like when you were least happy is when people were most happy for you. Like they were like less like they were not hating, and it's like now that it seems like you're switching up, like
now I'm happy,
and now mad. People are like mad. So I think that's a weird part of our society, obviously. But I just wanted to point that out because I think it's like really weird. And if you're listening, you should want the creator you're following to be happy. Yeah.
Well, and that's why like a lot of I've realized, like, well, we'll get to the nursing stuff, but seeing the good, and I know there's so many good followers that make it so worth it, and they're like genuinely happy for me. But I don't know why there's been so many that like aren't right now, and I think a lot of it comes from like the nursing, the leaving New York, that frustration. But I feel like I just happy like leaving New York. I did what's best for me, and I've never been happier. And I literally like I'm so happy. I didn't even know I didn't even know my boyfriend, and I was so happy.
Exactly. Like, so it was not even attached to that. And I also want to say that, like, you're 25, like, our 20s, do they want you to be the same character in the same box? Like, you should be changing. I've changed my career, like, 3 times. Like, you're supposed to do that. You're supposed to pivot and be in your 20s. So there's literally nothing wrong with what you're doing. But it is interesting how you kind of get, like, pigeonholed sometimes into, like, a certain content, and you want to, like, be free a little bit from that, and you're like in a weird position.
I feel like that's why I've tried so hard, because I don't want a niche, because like, you know, when you get stuck in a niche, people get mad, but it's hard to not be in a niche when it does well. Like when my cheer stuff doing well, I'm gonna keep posting cheer stuff, when my nursing stuff does well. But I I call myself like a lifestyle. I don't just talk about cheer and nursing. Like I had other content.
Yeah.
Maybe it didn't do as well as that stuff.
But you're still happy
if you
with
follow,
it. Yeah.
if you follow me, like that's what you're gonna see. And I would hope you would stick with it. If not, that's okay. Like go. There's so many other ones
people,
to follow.
You don't have to like be mean.
Yeah, you can just go.
Maybe just
find
nice
another account.
Okay, but okay. So you were in New York City and you were kind of like low, and you decided to make a change, which is also like really good because I feel like it's easy to stay in that hole and not be like, oh, I need to like make a big change. So then you moved to South Carolina, Charleston. Yeah. And how was that? And how was that experience? And like, how is that now?
That was great. I feel like the hardest part for me when I realized I wanted to leave New York was when the only thing I enjoyed about New York was my job. And I was like, I can't believe the only thing makes me happy is going to these 12-hour shifts, night shifts. Yeah. Which is crazy. But so that was the hardest part was quitting my job, honestly. But I was like, it's nursing. Like we can find so many other cool things. So finally did that. Moved to Charleston last September. So we're coming up on like a year. Yeah. Which is crazy. And that just, it was amazing. I live with one of my college roommates that I cheered with, my best friends. We all have tattoos together. I live with her. So it's just us two. And then it's crazy because our other two roommates just so happened to also move across the country. And we all ended up in Charleston at the same time. Aww. And our whole college friend group's there. It's just so comforting. So happy.
Like, you guys, she's literally like smiling from ear to ear talking about it. Like, it's so evident that you're so happy with where you're at right now.
And you can even see that in my content too. I just feel like it's so apparent. And I don't know, just being near the beach and the slower pace of life has also made me happy, and the more flexibility to travel and everything. I did take some time, and then I wanted to try a new nursing job, which I did, PICU. And as we know, I recently left the PICU. I finally did a sit down, like explaining everything on TikTok, and it blew up. And honestly, it got a lot of support because I was getting much hate from people.
I was going to say, when I was like researching, because you know I'm a sleuther, I was like, why is this girl getting like, I was trying to just figure out what the hate from. And this isn't even me like trying to like gas you up, or like I have no reason to, but I just truly don't understand the hate that you get just from switching a career and like doing something that makes you happy. And to be honest, I have a lot of nurse friends that have transitioned out of nursing and are either doing like aesthetics, like Botox and stuff like that, or they just don't do it anymore because it's grueling mentally and physically on you. Like if you're not happy, then that's going to make you even more depressed. And if you have an out, like who wouldn't take a break?
I know. I always told myself that if I ever get to the point where like my head isn't on right about it, I'm not 100% committed, I'm not like giving like my full, obviously at work I'd always give my full and like best nurse possible, but that I would quit because I know I have the privilege too, which I'm not gonna sit here and be like, yeah, I can quit whatever. Like no, I know that's such a privilege, and I do know so many people would take that opportunity. And I think it came when I was like, I just realized I'm getting so many travel last minute opportunities with content, which I'm so grateful for. And I've been having to say no to them. And I'm like, I'm 25. I won't be in my 20s with these opportunities forever. I can nurse forever. I can go back. I can do that. And I'll have my degree. I didn't throw my license in the garbage. I can do it again. Yeah. So I just don't know why I wouldn't take the time to travel and enjoy myself, choose myself, focus on my other career path. And I do think like if I ever get bored, because my biggest fear was like getting bored or like not feeling fulfilled, because sometimes I do struggle with that. Like, what am I doing? Like,
but you're still so young. Like, take this from like a big sister advice. Like, you are so young. When I was 25, I don't even know what I was doing. Like, it's just like, even at like 29, like you're never figuring out your life. That's the part of life. Like, I don't think there's ever a point where you're content, where you're like, oh, this is perfect. Like, I don't need to do anything else. Like, that's the point of growing up, is like growing and pivoting. And so I think that's all that you're doing. Like, you're not harming
that's good to hear. That's good to hear. Cause it gets to a point when you see all the comments that like it starts to be like, oh, are they right?
Yeah.
Like,
well, don't listen to those people. Like, they don't know you. And I think something else that I've learned is that you can't let like faith from other people be bigger than the faith you have in yourself. So I feel like you have to like just have so much faith in you, and it doesn't matter what these people think. Like, they don't have to believe in you. They don't have to have faith in you. As long as you and like the people you love and surround yourself like are backing you, that's really all that matters. Like, you're not harming, you're not being mean to anyone. Like, it's I'm
gonna keep that in my head because like you're so right. It's like, in my family, my dad supports me. That's all I care about. My boyfriend supports me. My friends were like, finally, like, we've been telling you this. So why should I care?
I mean, but it's hard to be in that position because it's like, when I was 25 or in my young 20s, like, you spiral and you go through that and you have insecurities and everything, and then you're on such a big platform. Like, I don't know. That's why I think starting when I am now, I don't think I could do it. Like, so I give you props for doing that, because I'm just in a different mental space where I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Like, what are you gonna do? You're gonna call me ugly. You're gonna say you don't like my sports take. Okay, cool.
See, I'm starting to get there. Yeah. I just am such an overthinker, and
it's hard.
I want to get to that point because it's draining to like take every single comment to heart and you just can't. Yeah. But when I did post the sit down of like explaining, like there's a 10-minute thing on my page explaining like every single reason and like why I left, because people were, I think they were most frustrated when I wasn't addressing it, and they were like, she hasn't posted a nursing video in like 3 weeks.
But they know
like,
you're left.
I know. So, like, no, they're like, you owe it to us. You need to explain to us. Like, we deserve. And I'm like, yes, but also no, like you
already know that I'm not anymore.
I have the right to share what I want to share. But so I told them, I was like, I'm sharing this for not for the people who are mad at me and yelling at me. I'm sharing this for the loyal followers who are like, take your time, let us know when you want. Yeah. That's who I want to address. And I want them to still be a nurse, and like the girls who looked up to me, like, I am sorry, but like my plan, I do want to, whenever I get bored, like I feel like aesthetics would be really cool.
My friend, stuff like that. I have a couple of friends who've done that and they love it, because pediatric care too, like I mentally, like, I'm on TikTok and I see a dog, like an old dog, and I cry. So like I truly could never do it. So I get wanting to go a different route, and I feel like, why not?
I also feel like aesthetics would like mix perfect, because like obviously the hospital, I can't have my phone out and I don't, but aesthetics, you can literally film everything.
The whole thing is to have like an aesthetic like Instagram page, and like,
I could like get our business like it'd be the perfect combination of my two jobs versus like me and the PICU were the most opposite two jobs you could possibly have on this planet. So I'm like, that would make so much sense. So I do have that in mind for when I want to, but right now I'm really loving the flexibility of like being able to travel when I want and go do whatever I want, stay here as long as I want and everything. But
well, I'm happy that you're happy and you're in a good place. Again, just like, don't pay attention to those people, because they're lonely. And I know everyone says it, but they're like lonely at home by themselves. And I guess it is hard because I'm not sure, but having that big switch from like cheerleading and then the New York content, and now you're here in DC because you're dating someone. How did you guys meet? Was it like a modern love story of DMs?
It was a modern love story of DMs. That was a good guess. Yeah, he messaged me like fall, winter of last year. Okay. He gives a different vibe. Like, he was just super respectful, wasn't pushy. Yeah. It wasn't like one of those like, oh my gosh, these DMs. Yeah. Like, it was like just very
stupid,
sweet.
Like, what do guys sometimes send? They're just like
weird
lines. Emoji, like the like slide emoji, like something weird.
It wasn't anything like that. It was just like really sweet. And he just kept being sweet, and we were just DMing for a while. Yeah. And then he ended up coming to Charleston for New Year's. So that's when we officially met. He met all my friends. It was like 3 weeks before baseball season started. It was. And so like he had friends to stay with, like, so I was like, okay, this should be good. It's not like you're just coming here. Like, it was gonna be good. Yeah. And I didn't have super high, like, I didn't want to get my hopes up or anything. Yeah. Because by now I've been single for a whole year and I was healed and my healing, like, so good. But he came and ask any of my friends. Literally the second he walked in, we were both locked in. Like, it was like a New Year's like masquerade ball type thing. He was like, and he showed up alone. Like, his friends like went to this whole thing, and he's like, I'll come to yours. Showed up alone. All my friends, like, it literally saw each other at the place. All my friends fell in love with him.
I feel like I'm like reading a romance
novel. I feel like it was, because all my friends he vibed with them obviously so perfectly. All the guys loved, and they didn't even know he played baseball, anything. Like, he's literally would never talk about that unless it came up. Like, everyone just loved him. Man. He's the best. But it was 3 weeks before baseball season started, and I mean, I know baseball, but I don't know baseball like I do now. Yeah. So I had no idea what that entailed. But it was in January. I'm like, what do you mean baseball's about to start in February? But spring training.
Yeah, it's a whole thing.
So those 3 weeks, he like came to Charleston 3 times in a row. So like to prove, because like we knew it'd be just me coming if this were to continue. So came 3 times, and then the very first time I went to West Palm to visit him, he asked me to be his girlfriend, and then since then we've been making it work. Yeah.
When did you want to like make an effort to hide this like relationship? Like, are you protective of it a little bit more?
Yeah, my last one was super public, and then
you were young though. So.
Yeah, and when we broke up, was kind of the same thing with nursing when I quit. Everyone was like, you owe us, you have to tell us, you. So like, it's hard to heal when I'm already not healed. So why, like that, I didn't want to deal with.
Like, what are you going to say to them? Like, yeah, we broke up. I'm sad.
And I'm not going to air out somebody else's. Right. Like, I don't know. That doesn't sit right with me. Yeah, I could, but I'm going to be mature and not.
You're like growth.
We won't get into that. Yeah. So and then also like after that last relationship, I was like, I've never heard lunging another man again until I get married. And then of course I'm obsessed with my boyfriend. So now I'm like, duh. But I did take a while and I soft launched him a while, which honestly is so fun. Like soft launching was so fun. But I do remember the first time I soft launched him, I think we were a month into dating. I don't know how long. We were so early, but we went to a Chiefs game because I was working with TickPick and like we went to a Chiefs game and they were playing Baltimore. So it was here. It was that playoffs game.
I was so upset. I like the Ravens too. I don't know why, but I was devastated.
Dude, it was crazy. I mean,
because that was in Baltimore. Were you running for the Chiefs because of Taylor?
Yeah, because Taylor. But I knew I would get so much hate because everyone was so mad at all the Taylor Swift Chiefs fans, of course. So I just wore all black and then a tiny little Chiefs hat, and I planned to take it off. He's like a fan, but he's not like, that's not his team. So we just had fun time. Some of my Charleston friends are from Maryland, so we met up with them. We tailgated with them. Yeah, it was so fun. But I did like a TikTok where he just put his hand, and it was, you know, that Taylor Swift song that's like, the privacy sign on the door. Yeah. Blah, blah, romance is not dead. And, you know, okay. Yeah. And so I had him just put his hand there and I did a little twirl at the end so you could see a guy's hand. And of course it blew up. But I was like, no way, people will guess his hand. This girl freaking duetted it with
so scary.
His Instagram, his name, his family, his stats, his everything. And of course her thing blew up because
that's so terrifying.
And I was like, this is nuts. And she was like, I'm Anna's biggest fan. I'm like, you're not. No, you're just gonna do something I don't want you to do.
That's like, so I think that's like a different, can't you just quietly like in your mind be like, oh my, or text your friends that information?
Just
like, why do you
have the group chat?
Yeah. I feel like there's a lost like cause of just sending it in the group chat. We don't need to publicize all of that.
I know. I didn't care that much only because, I was nervous what he would think because it literally popped up on his For You page while we were together because I didn't show him. So I like saw it and I was like, oh my gosh, like that's crazy. And I was so nervous. And he was like, it's going to come out anyways, isn't it? Like he was so chill and I was like, oh, we're going to be good. Like we're going to be good.
Is he like on social media other than for baseball?
Okay. If he did not have to post what he has to post and
green flag.
He's the quietest, calmest person, but like, he respects what I do and supports me in my career, which like we have the perfect balance, you know, like he respects what I do. He doesn't want to be the center of it, but he'll be in it. Like lets me vlog, like whatever. So
that's so nice.
I think we have a good thing going.
Did you, so you didn't know much about baseball. And to be honest, I'm more of an NFL, but did you know how good he is? Because I was also looking that up and he's really fucking good.
I had no idea because I know my dad and parents and family were the biggest baseball, like Braves fans and stuff.
Okay.
But I kind of fell out of it when football, because like cheer, college, all that stuff.
Towards that.
Because baseball, there's like the minor leagues where there's literally low A, high A, single A, double A, triple A. He had to sit me down and explain this for 10 million times because I was like, what do you mean you're in this A? Like, you're on the national, but you're not. I don't get it. Like, exactly. But I knew he wasn't like on the main team at the time. Like I met him when he was in double A. So there was still like,
so there's like a level before that? Or?
Yeah, so there's minor leagues, then there's major leagues. He ended the season last year, his first season in double A. So he would still have to go through double A and then triple A, and then you can get pulled up to the majors.
Okay.
I go to spring training, and I really don't know what's happening. Like, I didn't know any of the guys. Now looking back, I'm like, I know all the girlfriends, I know all the guys. But like, I guess he was doing really freaking good in spring. They called him up. So that's like the biggest deal of their careers is their major league debut.
I think I remember that. Because I was on TikTok scrolling and I think I saw maybe yours. And then I think you saw the tray. And then I like went and I was like, oh, the Nationals posted him. He must be good.
It was crazy because, I mean, we were only a month into dating, but he was like, this is my major league debut. Like, this only happens once in my entire life. Like, I want you there. So, like, we all flew out. Like, it was a big deal. And I'm so glad I did. I would never want to miss that. But
it is a huge deal when they do
so there's a lot of up and downs, too, because, like, once you're on that team, like you're not on that team. Like they literally make roster moves. It's not like football where like you're pretty much on the team. Sometimes they'll go practice squad. No, these minor league teams are all over. Like the AAA's in Rochester. So like and they make roster moves every single day. So
it's so confusing. I was playing a game with like me and my girlfriends, and we were like, would you rather be like an NBA or like baseball significant other? And we all were like, NBA. Baseball. Life is so crazy because first of all, they literally are playing for like a year, it feels like every day, and then you're
every single
traveling
day
everywhere. Like I have no idea how people who are like dating someone in the MLB like can do it, to be honest. It seems so like,
yeah, I honestly like, it's so crazy because they'll be like, he never comes to see you. I'm like, babe, he can't. Like, we have our own understanding. Like, they literally play every single day, and it's not just like they have to go in for the game. Like,
look up their schedule. It's literally like 8 days in a row.
And we have to drop them off like 6 hours before game time, and then the game's like 3 hours, and then they take an hour after. So it's all day, every single day. Like, it's not for the week. Like, sometimes we all get jealous of like not jealous, but like the football wives who like one day a week they can pop out with their outfits, and we're like, we have to come up with something every single day. Like we kind of give up at this point.
That's what the stylist I interviewed, JoJo. She was saying, because we were asking her like the difference in like the clothes and stuff for MLB, for NHL, and all that stuff, and NFL. And she was like, well, NFL there's only one game a week, so they're always like going crazy for it. And I didn't even think about that on the like wives or girlfriend, significant other side, because it's like, also, like, I would be, like, tired and just wearing sweats at some
literally
point.
Like no makeup, like, and a lot of them have babies too, so they'll just like, but it's just the best. But
do you feel like you're getting a little bit, I feel like this is a full circle, like you started on TikTok and you had that camaraderie of being part of a team, like it was a cheerleading team, and you're kind of like getting that again with all the like significant others.
Yeah, it's like forming relationships with them, and I think it's really cool. I just struggle with my content right now. Like, I'm trying to find a direction of it because I think it's really cool what we do, and I love posting my outfits and the get ready with me. But a lot of people are like, we're sick of the baseball. We don't want to see that anymore. But I'm like, I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to sit here and be like, day in the life of an MLB girlfriend. Like, I don't want that.
You don't want your identity to be
him.
Yeah, exactly.
And he knows that too, and I feel like I have a good balance. But also, I'm like, why can people love those MLB wives TikToks? But like, why do I get hate for posting a little outfit?
I'm trying to think of someone. I think her name's Claire.
Yeah,
she does.
I love her stuff.
She does that.
She does it, and everyone loves it. So
maybe it's harder because she started
out like that.
Yeah.
So I don't think I'll ever transform fully into that, but I think once people get used to it, maybe, I don't know.
You should do like exploring like a new area type of TikToks and stuff like that.
I'm trying to find little new things.
I was telling her she should, if people are from the DC area, like definitely go to Old Town. Like that's a really cutesy like town, and it's on the water.
Take everyone with me.
Yeah, you guys can go. There's like, you can rent boats and stuff on the Potomac.
That'd be so
Don't
fun.
Jump in the Potomac because like I think there's dead bodies in there.
Okay, won't do that.
We're not like in Charleston where you can go into that water, but yeah, you should go over there. I feel like there's so much like that you have in front of you still. That's exciting.
I'm really excited. I feel like there's a lot of different content opportunities I can do, and I'm like brainstorming now.
Yeah,
that I have more time.
It's interesting being on this side of it and like just starting out like with the podcast and everything, and like talking to people in this environment, because they're always like working and always thinking of their next one, or even like editing. I'm like, how do these people do this? Like,
I know.
Like
I
4
always
videos a day.
I always like throw myself, like, don't give myself enough credit. My like, I'm always like, yeah, no, my job's stupid. Like, but my friend's like,
dude,
no, like I could never
work.
do what you do. Like, like I just, it's not hard for me to film a TikTok, edit it, go. And they're like, I could never do that. I'm like, oh, I forget. Like, a lot of people don't do that, or don't want to do that, or aren't comfortable doing that.
Trying to zoom in on a clip to like cut, and I'm like, why isn't it pressing for me?
I feel like I'm just like, like go.
So, what do you think is next for you? Do you think you're just gonna like chill, ride the wave, be nicer to yourself?
Yes, that. I feel like right now I'm learning to slow down, learning to like do things that I enjoy. And I'm really focusing on doing what makes me happy and like choosing me for the first time.
Okay.
I feel like when winter comes around, could possibly look into the aesthetic route, because right now there's no problem keeping my day busy with travels and pool and beach and
all that,
like all this stuff. But I could see myself wanting. I also feel like a side hustle would be cool. Like, I've been super interested in, you know how people make those little like game day like press stuff like that.
Yeah.
I feel like that would be cool if I like figured out how to do cricket and stuff, because I have the audience of like my followers, B USC people, C baseball people. Yeah, you should definitely like I don't know if I'd be good at it, but it'd be fun to try.
I mean, you know, what's a failure here?
Right, we'll try it.
Okay, I love that. I always also ask my guests, I know I should have told you this before, not to put you on the spot, but what is one piece of advice you would give young Anna, or Anna who's about to start really diving in with content at USC and everything, like being at this stage of your life now?
I would tell her to like just stop caring what people think already. Because I remember when I was at USC, there was like a sorority girl who posted, like, I tried to come out with a merch line. I remember she posted like a public snap being like, this girl in my sorority is like, thinks people are going to buy stuff with her name on it. And I was like,
oh my God.
I was in,
That's mortifying.
Yeah, it was rough. But I remember just like, it was the biggest deal in the world. I thought it was over. And I was like, look at you now. Now those people are like, they're in my DMs asking me to buy their hair care thing, whatever they're promoting. Like, I'm like,
are you serious?
Yeah, you know, those people, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm like, it always comes full circle. They're asking for advice or asking for stuff. And I just wish I didn't care that whole entire time. I mean, I still got to where I'm at, but it would have just been a lot easier on my mental health. And obviously we're still working on it, but I think we're a lot better than we were.
Well, you sound like happy, and you look like you're in a good place. Like you're smiling and when you're talking about all of this stuff. So I do feel like you're accomplishing that.
Thanks. We're working.
Okay, guys, that wraps up. Tell everyone where to follow you.
You guys can follow me. Instagram's just Anna Heid, and it's HEID. TikTok, there's an underscore in between those two. And then YouTube, I post a lot of vlogs too. It's just Anna Heid. So Anna Heid all around.
Oh, that's so nice. You got that.
I know.
Like there's no other Anna Heids in the world.
I guess not how I spell it like kind of weird. But
Well, that's awesome. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks so much for having me.
Of
It was so fun.